What's up, guys? It's Ebony Ivory, the Fly Aunt, and let's get into my Love and Marriage Huntsville recap, season 9, episode 4. So, the episode begins with Martell and Destiny meeting up at a local park. Destiny is catching Martell up on what's been going on. She actually just signed a new lease for her distribution of her products. She sells candles and some other items. Madani is now fully e-commerce, so she's excited about the lease that she signed. Martell asks her, how's the girls' trip? Being that you and Melody, y'all don't get along. So how is the girls' trip? So you know what happens? The drag session has begun. She lets it be known that she told Melody that she was teaching Coleslaw how to respectfully cheat and all of that other stuff. I'm not even going to rehash it. And Martell says, quote unquote, it's like she wanted me to cheat just so she could have something to talk about. I'm like, what? Your wife wanted you to cheat. Your ex-wife wanted you to cheat so you can have something to talk about. Man, you sound stupid as hell for saying something like that. And then Destiny just sitting there, not even correcting it, just looking kind of like dumbfounded. And then they continue the drag session. This is why I don't have much respect for her, because you can not like somebody, but you can kind of stand up for what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. So they continue to basically drag Mel about the trip and whatever else was going on. Destiny has a new confessional look, blonde confessional look. Let me know what you guys think about it. In this confessional, Destiny stated how after she said that Mel was so nice to her, and she says she doesn't know how many faces Mel had. I was like, well, damn. So Destiny brings up the fact that she hasn't seen Martell in the gym for a while. And Martell's like, I've been losing weight. I just been doing cardio. I've been running. I ain't been going to the gym much. And Destiny brings up Tricia's name, and Martell immediately has a reaction. He was like, what you bring her up for? What the F you bring her up for? And Destiny's like, oh, she's my friend, or whatever the case may be. So she also lets him know that they brought up the whole Trish situation at the girls' trip. I guess he was looking forward to see what we didn't see on camera, but I think he was wanting to know, how did Melody react to it, but Melody paid all of it dust. Destiny did ask Martell, did anything ever happen between him and Trish? She says no, but the no was not convincing. Let me know in the comments, guys, if you feel like he was convincing, because I'm still not convinced that nothing happened between these two, because it's like the truth is always the truth. It's always going to be the same story. But it's like when you're hiding stuff, it's like the lies are just multiplying. And also, I believe Destiny asked him, did this happen while you were still married? And he's going to say, this is when him and Mel was separating and she was doing her thing with all of those guys. I'm like, damn, bro, you just anytime it's an opportunity to slander, to talk down bad about the mother of your children, you waste no time, boy, I tell you. Martell says, again, nothing happened between him and Trish. She said he sees that Ken is starting to feel a type of way. Ken even is telling him that, he's a cool guy. And, it was before him, so it doesn't really matter. And, I don't really think it was before Ken, but what do you guys think? So he was basically telling Destiny, all the guys had met up. The Trish thing came up again. And, he's basically kind of getting tired of it. He also mentioned in his confessional, if Trish would have played it how he was playing it, like he didn't know her, like that was their first time meeting, he's basically saying nobody would have had any questions. So there you have it. Martell, sneaky sneak. I knew when he met up with her, he definitely knew who she was. He just wanted her to play along like she had no clue who he was. And instead of Trish going along with it, she took offense that he was playing like he didn't know her. All right, so Martell says that he has issues with Marceau and Maurice. He says Marceau and Maurice are being hypocritical. And I'm like, why Destiny to ask, what does he mean by that? Or does she already know? Because if it was me having this conversation, I would be like, what do you mean they're being hypocritical? Martell goes on to say that Martell and Marceau basically have done the same things that he's done. He brought up when Marceau and the Scotts basically went over to his new property. And he was like, he hasn't been put in a situation where he would do anything that would qualify for him to get a divorce. And Martell is basically saying Marceau has done worse than him. And I'm like, okay, what do you guys think that means? Put that down in the comments. And please don't forget to click your notifications when I post a recap so you can get notified. And please subscribe to the channel. In addition to that, subscribing to the channel helps boost the channel, but share the video if you think someone will like the content as well. All right, so we switch from Destiny and Martell at the park and we go to Melody's house. So Nell is going to Melody's house because she is still feeling away from the St. Thomas trip. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on with these people? They act like everything is all good when they in these people's faces. And then when they get back home, they still got something that they need to get off their check. And this is a first world problem because Nell is basically saying her first world problem is she felt like she should have had Sonny's room because she feel like Melody doesn't know Sonny like that. And then again, we're back to the paper placement card. Melody didn't have her name on a card. Nell Fletcher is still feeling a ways about that. And I'm like, oh my God, how old are we? Like, this is such a first world complaint. You felt like you should have had a different room because so-and-so didn't know Sonny that well. I'm like, man, y'all can never just enjoy life. Well, Mel says she didn't understand why Mrs. Fletcher was there because she said she ain't talked to Nell, ain't heard from her, ain't a pigeon ain't come see her about nothing. Well, she didn't say that, but I'm adding my 10 on 20. So she's like, I'm shocked that we're even talking. She was like, you're mad at me? So, of course, Nell tells her why. So Nell also brings up the fact that she was a mentor and counselor to Martell and Melody. Now, Melody doesn't believe that Nell Fletcher was a mentor to her. In the confessional, Melody says a mentor is somebody who mentors business-wise, any of that kind of stuff. That's what she said a mentor is. And she said Nell did not do that for her. She did say that Nell was a listening ear when she was going through what she was going through. But a counselor, no. She says she has her own counselor, her own mom, and her own guy. And I think that definitely hurt Miss Fletcher's feelings. So, Melody brings up the podcast that Nell and Chris Fletcher were on. And if you be in the Love and Marriage Huntsville social media streets, there be so much going on that this show doesn't, the reality TV show does not even pick up. And that's a part of the problem with this show, I think, as well. There's so much stuff that happens off camera that they don't even include it. So this was a podcast that the Fletchers did where Nell Fletcher called Melody and Martell exhausting, draining, called Melody stubborn and hard-headed, or whatever the case may be. Melody took offense to this. Melody said she isn't the one that drained her, exhausted Nell Fletcher. She said Martell did that. She said she barely called and reached out in regards to the relationship. Now, I can understand how Mrs. Fletcher feels because when they were going through what they were going through, even though it probably was Martell that initiated the communication between the Fletchers, Nell was still there for both of them. And I'm sure that took a lot out of them and exhausted. It was exhausting to deal with. So I do feel for Mrs. Fletcher in this instance. Melody just asks her going forward, even if if they ask about them, just not to speak on her anymore. That's what she's requesting at this point. What do you guys think? Do you think Melody um, treating Miss Fletcher fairly on that point about mentor, counselor, listening ear? Give me your thoughts in the comments, okay? In addition to that, Mrs. Nell, she did give an apology. If I offended you, for me, that's not an apology. And Melody did try to correct her, but I don't know if it came out in the edit or not all the way if she said it again. So, Melody did tell her feelings were hurt by that, and she didn't want Nell Fletcher to be talking about her. All right, let's move on. Marques's DUI. Big dramatic music, all of this stuff. So we're at Kimmy and Reese's house. Kimmy is so understanding and supportive of his DUI. It's a weird situation. That's what they referring to it as. She's worried about him being truthful, and he's forthcoming because he's trying to protect her feelings or protect her from knowing certain things. They are there for each other. And I'm moving on, y'all. That's all I got for that Marques DUI. We go to Tricia and Ken. They're at their home. They're in the garage. They're trying to clean up the garage. They're discussing, it's becoming the end of the year. They have some milestones for their children. One is going to a new dance program. Another one is going to be cheering in high school. One has graduated. So they get to talking about how Marques couldn't afford to travel to his son's graduation and gave him gas money to get child. And this is what I mean when I spoke in my last recap, and catch it in my TV recaps playlist, that Tricia has no problem embarrassing Marques. I'm sorry. Embarrassing him and making him look bad. She don't have no issues or qualms about making that man look bad. Like, why did you have to tell the whole national TV that this man ain't had no gas money to get from Atlanta to Alabama? Lord, it's a snapping turtle. All right. And then you know what? While they were sitting there talking junk about Marques, this is the first time I'm really noticing how much Tricia and Ken look alike. They really could be brother and sister. All right. Also, I see in a clip, shout out to one of my commenters, they showed that Tricia did sign the divorce papers, but I'm not sure how they signed a divorce. I see that they signed a divorce paper. Shout out for giving me that information. However, a legal document like that has to be signed in front of a notary. So I'm not sure what the hell they think they doing or who they fooling, but a legal document like that has to be signed in front of a notary. Hence, that's the next issue. Marques doesn't live in Alabama. The paperwork got to be signed in front of a notary. So that's just another delay with this divorce proceeding. So you can't file the paperwork without it being notarized. So, they basically continue to drag Marques. Ken is like, this divorce is holding up the abundance of plans that he has. He was like, he can't propose to her. He can't do anything until this divorce is final. And Tricia just sitting there with a blank stare. I'm telling y'all, it doesn't seem like she's in any rush. And to be honest with you, if you were with somebody from high school and almost maybe 20 years, would you even be in a rush to get married? I don't think so. I don't think I would be in a rush to get out of one marriage and into another. She probably want to experience some new. All right. So now we get to Fletcher. They are at a dance class, and we all know, Miss Nell, she loves to dance. So, Chris and Nell are at a dance class. Nell tells Fletcher about the meetup that she had with Melody. Basically, she's upset about it. She went home and processed it and she felt the way. She lets him know that, Melody says, I don't want you guys discussing me in interviews. If you could just give no comment, that would be great. And, basically, Mr. Fletcher says, say less. We can do that. It's all good. Nell says her feelings are hurt by Melody, saying that they didn't mentor or counsel them. The word, for me, I think it's just semantics. The word means one thing to Nell Fletcher, and then the word means what it's supposed to mean to Melody. That's all I think this is. It's just semantics. And my thing is this too. If you're going to be my friend, don't be a scorekeeping ass person and be counting ducks on what it is that you do for me or what you did for me. If you my friend and you offering to be a listening ear, then be that. Then why else are you doing it? So you can throw it in my face later? I don't know. Give me your thoughts on that, guys, later on. So Nell Fletcher also says that she ain't nobody. She said Melody is used to having do-girls around her. She's not a do-girl. Melody doesn't like to take accountability. She doesn't like when people tell her the truth about herself and this, that, and the third. And this is my thoughts. I have to agree with Mel when you say, with Nell Fletcher, a friend should be able to tell you the truth and be honest with you. Point blank, period. That is real friendship. Now, is that's what's happening between her and Melody? I have no idea because I haven't really seen the evidence of that. Hopefully that's something that they're not going to say was edited out or whatever. But you guys tell me what you think. All right, Fletcher changed the subject, brought up Maurice's DUI. And, in the confessional, because Nell Fletcher caught a lot of flack about black men and the police and being arrested, but she's changed her tune. She was like, if he got caught with a DUI, then he has to accept the consequences of that. Boom, it's over. We go to Mel. She's having a 7th Avenue community dinner. So it seems as though Mel basically feeds the community. Shanita Foster was in town to help with the community dinner. Melody brings up the fact that none of the local people, like the Scots or anybody, they come out or help with any of that stuff. When they have basically saying they don't show up for her, but then they want her resources or for her to show up for them. Shanita and Mel discuss Maurice's DUI. Mel lets everyone know that, not everyone, but Mel lets Shanita know that she actually lost her grandmother to a drunk driver. So that's something that is, I would say triggering for her, and that, she takes very seriously. She said Maurice is always trying to conduct himself or make himself seem as though he is such a pillar of the community, trying to equate himself to a leader, as in, something similar to Martin Luther King, that type of stance. Melody says that when Maurice drinks, he is very immature. Now he has a DUI and he needs to sit down somewhere, basically. Now, she's also stated that this whole platform was supposed to be based on Black excellence. And we have moved so far away from that because more of the cast members are obtaining mugshots. And that is it for my recap. Season 9, Episode 4, Love and Marriage Huntsville. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like, share, and turn on your post notifications. So when I drop a new recap, you are notified. Until the next recap, Auntie loves you. Bye-bye.